Conducting a successful investor meeting. First, let's start with a quick summary. We've identified our ideal investors. We've created a list of potential investors that match that profile. We've scheduled a meeting with potential investors on the list. After all this effort, let's make sure we capitalize on the opportunity. This recipe shows how to prepare for a successful and productive investor meeting, what to say and be prepared to cover in the presentation and discussion, how to avoid common pitfalls and mistakes, questions to ask. The next recipe covers the contents of the pitch deck template with instructions for customization. Also included is a review, feedback, discussion, and tuning suggestions for your investor pitch deck. Preparing for the meeting. These are basic steps for any introductory business meeting, but are particularly important for investor meetings. We want to find out who will be attending the meeting. Once we know, we want to check them out to understand their background and experience and how it fits with our company, their relevant work experience, mutual acquaintances, existing business relationships, etc. We want to confirm the amount of time allocated for the meeting and make sure that our materials match the time with plenty of time for questions and discussion. We also want to send a proposed agenda to confirm we're aligned to prepare them if we're expecting them to cover any specific topics regarding their investments. The purpose of the presentation. The first few minutes will determine if the investor is engaged or lost. Many investors meet with and hear hundreds of business presentations. Ours must catch their attention from the beginning. Attracting their attention starts with telling a story that's interesting and well told. Draft this story and practice telling it. Get feedback from friends, family, and team members. This has to be great. If the story is compelling, it provides some leeway on other items. How we communicate our business plan in the presentation must demonstrate a clear understanding of the problem we solve and why it's important. We want the presentation to provide the opportunity for us to ask questions about their investment characteristics like the amounts, stages, industries, etc. We're trying to determine and have them sell us on how they add value beyond just money. The investor presentation is built around 6 core slides. Your investor deck may contain more materials, but it should clearly and concisely cover these 6 topics, which we'll cover each in more detail. First, what do we do and what problem do we solve? Second, who cares about us solving this problem? Third, what is our secret sauce, or why are we uniquely positioned to solve this problem? Fourth, why do our customers care if we solve it? Fifth, how do we make money from solving the problem? And sixth, how does the business scale? A pro tip. Details on building the financials. One of the mistakes that's often made is not scaling the financials for the whole organization as the business grows. Resources will need to be added in increments, usually headcount, but for these preliminary financials, using percentage of revenue is acceptable to keep it simple. The amount and use of funding. This is a supplemental slide, but all this material needs to be prepared and ready to present or discuss. This is where we talk about the amount of funding and type of funding we've targeted to raise based on the milestones we've currently met, and then what we think we need in funding to accomplish the next set of milestones. These milestones are generally recognized milestones that change the value of the company when accomplished. Mistakes to avoid. The company story must be short and compelling. Investors have notoriously short attention spans. Every company has competition in some form. Generally, doing nothing is the biggest competitor. Have at least 2 competitors that we know and can differentiate at a very high level. If not, we appear naive and uninformed. Do not make the mistake of dropping into the details of how we do what we do in the initial meeting. Stick with what we do and why it's important. How is covered in technical due diligence later in the process. Investors expect our revenue numbers to be optimistic, but our customer acquisition and revenue ramping plans need to pass a basic sanity check. If they do not, we appear unsophisticated, uninformed, and potentially untrustworthy. Investor psychology. Investing is an emotional decision that carries risk for the investors. The first priority is to win the emotional decision and then fill in with logic and facts that reduce the risk. This is true for angel investors that write the check or venture capitalists that sponsor the company investment to their partner team. Reducing the risk. Factors that reduce the perceived risk are: first, the founding team has a passion and domain knowledge and experience in the target market segment and is committed to doing whatever it takes for success. This is particularly important for senior management teams in the startup. Second, there are more than one or two interested customers in the company's product or services. Third, if the customer engagements cover more than one segment, there's a commonality between the segments. The product is solving the same problem in the same way in more than one industry or segment. In summary, we've spent so much time, effort, and energy in gaining the opportunity to meet and present to investors. We must make sure we're prepared for the meeting, quickly gain their attention and engagement, demonstrate an understanding of the market and why we will succeed, and prove that we're credible and committed to success. Good luck and keep me posted on your progress.